when I say cutting him, I'm not like, oh, I'm sorry, we just had to go different
It's
way.
like, you
it's
gotta
brutal.
get out.
Like I'm calling him into the front office and like it's getting egregious.
It's not even front office. You might do it in front of the team, like like a team meeting.
It would be like the whole team's there, and then I call him up front and say, well, we got something to tell you, and I like make him think we're gonna like give him like a little present. I do it on his birthday.
Hardy.
Welcome to the Harvester Sports Podcast. This is episode 49.
Yes, sir.
49, like Jimmy G is a 49er.
Oh, that's good. I was like, wait
for
a minute.
another year. No, he's not 49 years old yet. You're like, wow, Jimmy G's been around that long.
He might still be a Niner when he's 49.
Just on 1 year contract, 1 year contract, 1 year contract. We're your hosts, Noah
and Austin. The last Sunday without football. Like, this isn't coming out Sunday, but still, last Sunday without full football for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Even though,
forever.
Yeah, I love. Did you see the? I don't know if I sent it to you, but it was a meme yesterday. It was like, it was about college football. It's like, I love watching my D1 school blow out like a small on the opener. Mm-hmm. Your Tar Heels are fighting for their life.
Tar Heels are the quarter offense is looking great.
Yeah,
Drake May. The next go. It's QBU. Sam Howell, Mitch Trubisky, QB University. But 61 points is a lot of points to give up to Appalachian State.
Dude, and for Fresno and Cal Poly, that group chat was panicked, like, for the family. They were like, why is it so close? Which feels disrespectful, but still, I'm like, it is wild.
Well, I mean, close. The spread for... The thing is, they try to hype it up because it's like Coast versus Valley. They hype it up like it's some sort of rivalry. But when the spread is like 42 points,
still
a Cal Poly win against the spread is a win in my book.
Yeah. But you said the Cal Poly quarterback, that was like his first time.
Yeah, they didn't announce until like an hour before the game. They were like, all right, this is who the Cal Poly quarterback is going to be. Hang on, what? and then partway through, the announcer said, yeah, he actually hasn't started a game since junior year of high school. So, all right.
Does that feel
Might as well. I mean, why not?
Does that feel like a soap opera drama thing where it's like the quarterback doesn't know if he's going to start like an hour before the game starts? He's like, we don't know who's going to play. And the coach is like, I've elected to choose. Maverick, you'll be starting.
I'll keep him guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's like, oh, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah. That's what they were saying. They're like, I was like, dang, this score's close. And they're like, 7 points is 1,000,000 points for Cal Poly. Real quick, though, the uniforms are clean, though. The Cal Poly uniforms, I'm not going to lie.
Which ones? The black ones?
Yeah, the black ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty clean.
North Carolina also has clean unis. Anytime the football team wears Jordan, it looks cool for no reason. Clean.
Also, I saw people are flaming UCLA for like their stands, like, but also they were playing a team called like it was like Bowling Lane something, like straight up.
Bowling Green?
Yeah, Bowling Green.
Bowling Green is a legitimate school. I don't know why you're...
There was a reason I was like, what's going on?
No, Bowling Green's a real school that is sometimes not that bad.
But for some reason, like, watching, and people were like flaming the Fresno fans are getting a little too cocky after the win last year, and after like this week, they're flaming UCLA's like attendance at the game. I was like, we need to relax. It's like the we want Bama chance. It's gonna get wild. Okay, now let's get in some real stuff. So over this past week, there's been some stuff about Lamar Jackson, him being unhappy with not getting the contract that he wanted. Some guy on Twitter, some fan was like, they offered him $250 and he said no, and he said they did not offer me $250. Like, he replied specifically to that, and then he liked a picture on Twitter of him wearing a Miami Dolphins uniform and said that he was always a Cowboy fan first and then a Miami fan second. I was like, okay, really weird stuff. And like the Debo thing, we don't like really get into like what they're liking on Twitter. But I wanted to know, if he doesn't get a deal done with the Ravens, what team would be wild and would be most interesting to see him go?
I mean, I fully believe that he'll be a Raven.
Me too.
I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about where else.
Imagine Commanders.
for what reason? Yeah, I don't know where else he could end up. I feel like it's got to be the Ravens.
I think it's gonna be the Ravens. The man also has a full chest tat with purple feathers.
Oh, does he really?
So you really hope he stay. You really gotta hope he stay a Raven after that.
Ooh, I just remembered Josh Jacobs' tattoo.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's some guys.
Raiders are a team
Yeah.
that a lot of players get Raiders
get the
tats. I think
Raiders
Max
tattoos.
has one. There's a lot of guys that get
I
it because it's
think-
just dope design.
I think I'd wait to sign my first contract as a rookie, and then I'd get the tattoo.
Like your rookie deal or the
No,
next
like
one?
like the next one. Like
Oh,
if I make
okay.
it past the 40s, then I'd get the tattoo. Signing it right away, unless you like.
No, but that's the whole thing is the once a Raider, always a Raider. So they're like...
That's true. So it can.
And then maybe you just like wear a sleeve after that when you're on your other team.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly. You just start like coloring it in or like drawing stuff on it.
But I think, yeah, the like Lamar liking a post, I don't know. I'd be lurking around Instagrams every once in a while. Your finger slips. You like something.
Yeah, oh,
you know,
yeah.
it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it means you can read into it. Just be.
I've
looking at
I've been
it.
scrolling on Twitter before, and then I got a screenshot in the family group chat. It's like, Austin, why'd you like this? I'm like, dang. Just get it's just a screenshot and then just blowing up my phone. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I really can't explain this.
Yeah. What do you think about? Because I know some people have said that it's very fair of Lamar to want more money and to be
Yeah.
asking for this, but potentially, if he does want that money and that big contract, why is he still agreeing to like play and stuff? Should he sit
Yeah.
out and be like, I won't play until I get this contract? Do you think that's what he should be doing?
I don't know. I think I go back and forth on that sometimes because I can be a hypocrite about it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this dude's like being selfish for the team, but the other times I'm like, he deserves the money. Like he's being smart and keeping himself healthy. But Lamar's like a great quarterback. If the Ravens are dumb enough not to give him that money, he's gonna get that money somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's real. I would be okay with him doing either thing, like him sitting out and like protecting himself, or him going and play until he gets the money.
Because he also plays. He plays
Yeah,
a
he
way
plays-
that you could get hurt.
Yeah,
It's
he
not-
plays
it's not
more
unthinkable.
more dangerously than other quarterbacks would.
I also think that the Deshaun Watson contract.
Inflated some numbers.
Well, yeah, I just think the contract that Deshaun Watson got from the Browns kind of did some interesting things to the league because now you've got guys like Lamar, where it's like Lamar's looking at that and saying like, okay, I'm just like potentially he's looking at that and saying I'm just as good of a quarterback as him, and I'm not caught up in all these allegations and stuff.
Yeah.
I deserve at least that much because I'm just as good. And
I'm
you
not
don't have to worry
I'm
about
not a
all
sex
this other
offender.
stuff. Yeah. So all this other stuff is going on. But then also, it's like, why did they give Deshaun that much money?
Yeah,
so then it holds all these
if
other
you-
teams. Like that, do you just look at that as like, no, that's an anomaly? The Ravens front office are like, yeah, straight up, we don't know why they gave him that much money, but
If
we're
you
trying to do
look-
our best for you. Like, I don't know how you assure Lamar like, no, we're gonna pay you less than that, but like, don't take it personally. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
always somehow comes back to it's the Browns' fault. But I think you're totally right. If I'm Lamar, I'm like Deshaun got this money. I'm just as good of a quarterback as Deshaun, and also I don't have these problems tacked on. So I better get more than he got,
Because
at least equal to.
Because when you're paying players, is particularly the quarterback position, you're looking at more than athletic ability. Like, why did Derek get that extension? Because he's a good quarterback, but also he last year showed himself to be somebody that can lead the team. Like, that can be a good leader to depend on. And Lamar is like, okay, they're giving that much to somebody that you can't depend on.
You could give this money to somebody who's probably a locker room cancer.
Yeah, like this guy's tearing the team apart, and they're giving him $240 million. Like, wow, what are you going to give me?
Yeah, it's like if this guy can go do all these things and still get this much money, I better be making like $280.
Yeah. So it's like the Browns, because they shouldn't have given him that much, and so now it forces all these other teams to be caught in a sticky situation where they're trying to explain to Lamar like, we like you, we appreciate you. We don't know what the Browns were doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly got to be a thing of like pride, where it's like, really, he's getting that much, and you're not even offering me like equal to his amount right now. Like that would for sure hurt my pride.
Yeah, I think you get to a point with a lot of these big contracts in sports that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Where it's not so much about the dollar amount, it's more about what the dollar amount means.
Yeah.
Because it communicates respect. I think in a lot
Exactly.
of ways where they're like, I want to know that my front office respects me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the main thing.
That was the whole thing with like with Derek when it was the new regime coming in, and he was like, well, imagine Derek, I want to see that they like have faith in me. I like it. It's weird, like in Derek's situation, a new guy coming in, Derek's like his last year. He's like, do I really want to play in this year if they're just gonna like let me go? So Derek was like, waiting for that like kind of handout of like, we have faith in you type of thing.
Yeah, well, and like in his situation where he's like, I want to be a Raider, I don't want to play anywhere else, but I also have to feel valued and like respected, and that's sort of how that's communicated.
Yeah, and I also can get guys with Derek and Lamar. Derek being through so many different coaches and OCs and stuff, like being like, I just really want someone to like settle down, and be smooth. And Lamar, like when Lamar was going into the league, people were being like, he should switch positions. Like remember that whole like stuff of people were like, this dude's not a quarterback, he should be a running. People still make jokes all the time. I probably make a joke or two, probably. It's whatever. But like. He keeps getting disrespected, and finally he's like, I just want my team to show that they care like everything I'm doing for the team. Like I'm not sitting out, I'm not out here getting in trouble, getting suspended 11 games, very specific number again, but like I'm not out here getting suspended, I'm not holding out. I just want the money that like I'm deserved.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I bet, obviously I think you're right. I think he's gonna be a Raven. I would say the stuff about him liking like the Dolphins stuff, it could just be like his fingers are just going through replies, or it could just be him like I'm just gonna throw like a random like I'm just gonna be like whatever. He's not really thinking about it. He's just like sure. Like
yeah, just a mess. I also think there's something to be said for like when NFL players have stuff going on like contract talks, like they tend to instigate stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
get people talking or whatever.
It's
a game you're playing. If liking that picture he thinks is gonna help him get more money, then like the picture.
It's like a relationship. He's like, look at my other options.
Well, the Dolphins are a team that.
Can you imagine the Dolphins if they had got Lamar? Like what that offense would be like?
It's already such a fast offense, and then if you make the quarterback fast too.
Lamar, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, I'd just be like, all right, man. It would just be like everybody just lined up on the goal line.
Yeah, no, that'd be wild.
Okay, so now moving on. It finally happened. Alex Leatherwood was released. I kind of felt like we had news like as it was coming up where it's like, okay, he's either going to be released or traded. That's what the team's looking at. I still look back to like all the first round picks since 2019, right? 2019, Jonathan Abram, 5th year option decline. Josh Jacobs, 5th year option decline. Khalil Farrell, 5th year option decline. Dan Arnett cut. Henry Ruggs cut. Now Alex Leatherwood cut. I really hope that I just want it to be like we can look forward to a draft one day,
Yeah, well, it was the same day. In the same day they cut, waived Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah.
And then traded Trayvon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think really what that communicates is like, okay, guys, past is the past. This is like a new. I think that's what they're trying to do is turn a page where it's like you've got these guys from the past that there's some uncertainty about.
Yeah.
We're coming in and we're ready to go. We want to go. We don't want to worry about the past. Just keep moving.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like I'm glad that because the old regime, like if it was still Mayock and Gruden, if that stuff didn't happen, they probably would have kept him longer.
Yeah,
it's like this is my first round pick. We have to see if it works out.
Yeah, no, they couldn't have cut.
No, they like after one season is wild. It would be insane for like the same regime who drafted him, but a new regime, it's a little more makes sense. It's like this guy's not working out. It's better off if we just wipe the table clean.
Yeah, well, because you've got no obligation to try to prove like, no, guys, trust us, this was a good pick. It's like, no, we didn't make that pick, so we're not concerned about whether it was a good pick or not. We just want to win, and this is how we're going to do it.
And like when people are like, oh, but like the Raiders hit on guys like like Hunter Renfrow and Max Crosby in the later rounds. It's like, yeah, that's great. Like these guys are amazing players. It's just I wish we could hit amazing players in the first round also. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish that could just be a thing we do also. Where it's not. It was always a joke where it's like, oh, this 6th rounder is gonna be really good for us. Our 1st rounder is gonna be trash. And sadly, the joke worked every time.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. This is a tweet that Rich Eisen sent.
Okay.
Basically. Somebody tweeted out talking about how you were saying how the top picks towards the front of the draft didn't really work out, but then late in the round they've gotten Crosby, Renfrow, Foster Moreau, Hobbs, doing really well on day 3 of the draft. And Rich Eisen said, respond to that, said, wonder who might have had more sway at the top of the draft and then who had more sway at the bottom.
That's actually very that makes a lot of sense.
So it sounds like Rich Eisen might be a little in the middle about something.
That does sound like a specific coaching position was like really like this guy.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah, when you've got consistently drafting better later on and then better towards the front, it's like one of those is working out better than the other.
One of those working out better. It does make sense because the whole thing, like getting all like stuff with Gruden out of the way and just talking about Mayock, like he was that was his job until he was the Raiders guy. Like he was
the guy. Like his mock drafts were the ones that everybody.
Oh, everyone respected and loved his mock drafts. They were usually like spot on up there with like Daniel Jeremiah and stuff. And it was like, so when the Raiders hired him, I was like, oh, our drafts are gonna be awesome, insane. And then when the first round picks started to not work out, it was like something feels off. Like this is not like the Mayock that we've all been like heard and rumored about.
Yeah, somebody that has such a reputation as being like really good at like evaluating college talent and like projecting drafts, stuff like that. Do you think that almost somewhat hurts to where it makes you feel more like, oh, I gotta have like a hot pick or like a hot take? Like
exactly.
Where it's sometimes like there's nothing wrong with making the chalk pick, like the black and white pick. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, best man available.
Type like sometimes it's like this is the chalk pick. This is the like everybody consensus take this guy. Sometimes that's like not a bad thing to do,
Yeah. So that's what sometimes we also joked about. I was like, I just wish we'd listen to ESPN sometimes. It's like, this is the best guy available. I just wish we'd listen.
It's like how sometimes with fantasy football that you'll randomly have one friend that drafts a great team and they were just on auto draft.
Oh, yeah,
they didn't log in. It was just auto drafting for them. Their team turned out great. And
exactly.
Like, sometimes all these YouTube videos I watch, sleeper picks, pick this person, avoid this person.
Exactly.
Sometimes just pick them.
Sometimes it's best if you're just drafting to go quarterback, best available, running back, best available, and just go down the list like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. But it also is a thing where it's like, oh man, like we just drafted Cleveland Farrell 4th overall. That didn't really work out. Maybe it's better if we draft later in the first round. And then the Leatherwood pick came out. I was like, maybe that doesn't work out either.
Yeah.
So it's always like, oh, later in the round, because it's always like this is like the best guy available. That's where the Chiefs take like guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and stuff. It's like these are just, when you're drafting late in the first, you've been to the playoffs, you've been whatever, you kind of have that opportunity to draft the best guy available. But when you're like drafting really early in the first, there's usually like some big problems you need to fill. It's going to be like lineman, quarterback. But towards the end, it can be like whoever's here is here. So that's why I was excited for the Raiders to draft later in the first round last year. Sadly, did not work out still. But looking back on the Raiders draft picks, do you like at the time I was like, we won this trade, the Khalil Mack trade. Do you think we still won?
You thought that at the time?
At the time,
I absolutely did not think that. No, I thought that trade was a disaster. Yeah. I've come to terms with it more since then, but no, when the trade went through, I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Because I understood the things where it's like he wants a lot of money, but then I was like, oh, we got a lot of good stuff back from him. But now looking back, I don't think we won that trade, boys and girls. I really would rather have Khalil Mack on the roster, I think, right now.
Let me pull up exactly what so the Raiders gave up Khalil Mack, a 2nd round, and a 7th round pick. In exchange, they got what would become Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
What would become Damon Arnett.
Oh man.
What would become Brian Edwards.
Okay. So
the big takeaway from that is Josh Jacobs.
Which is still, then if you look at that trade in retrospective, I would rather have Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I mean.
No disrespect to Josh.
The other thing to throw in there is cap. Obviously, they pay a lot less now than if Khalil Mack was still on the trade. They pay a lot less for Josh, but
it hurts so much. Yeah. And now to see that he's in the AFC West but still not with us, it hurts even more.
Yeah, it does. But it's hard. I don't know. The past, it's looking at the way the Raiders roster has turned out today. It's hard to really complain about things that happened a few years ago because it's like. Whatever it took to get to the point where our pass rushers are Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, and we're also paying guys like
Derek and
Devontae Adams, and
exactly.
It all worked out.
It's wild to me to be like, in 1 year, this new regime, look what they've done to the overall team, and then with like all like since 2019, like. It just felt rocky, but then like this 1 year, the whole team is like revamped and feels like we got Chandler Jones, we got Hunter signed, we got Derek signed, we got Devontae Adams, we got Max signed. Like this feels like it's almost like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah, well, and I think some of that, to give credit to Mayock, a lot of that is because of the way that picks have turned out under that. Like
Yeah.
guys like Max, guys like Hunter,
Yeah.
young guys that have developed really well. Is part of why it feels that way, because it's a good addition of guys we've drafted, and then also bringing in free agent trades and free agents.
But it's not every. Yeah, I don't want to completely attack Mayock, but it's not every pick was bad. Like Morig looks like he's gonna be pretty good, right? Trayvon Morig, our safety, looks like he's gonna be pretty, like really good. Like he looks like he's gonna be like a great addition to the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nate Hobbs was potentially the steal of that draft.
Yeah, so I'm excited for what the new regime will do, like in the draft. It's gonna be fun to see. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see like how this year's picks and stuff turn out. It'll be fun. Alrighty, like I said in the beginning, this is the first week, or this is the last Sunday without NFL football. So I'm gonna throw just like a few matchups with you, and you tell me who do you think is gonna win. We'll do like 3 or 4. Okay. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, so the kickoff, the NFL kickoff week 1 opener, the Bills versus the Rams. This is a really good
That's a great week 1 matchup.
Yeah, that's a great game.
As of right now, there's not a team that you could give me that I would not pick the Bills.
Yeah, why was I thinking the same exact thing?
That's my genuine answer. Is I think the Rams are going to be one of the best teams in football, but as of right now, I have no reason to pick any team over the Bills at this point in time.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's all. Why am I stuck right now? That is like a very great game to start the week off with. Because a lot of these are like gonna hurt my heart. Like it's like the Broncos and the Seahawks playing each other. That's fun because it's like the quarterbacks playing each other, but it's gonna be a blowout, right? Like the Broncos are gonna pretty badly beat the Seahawks. It's gonna feel like. Maybe the Seahawks will shock us. Okay, but let's do.
If the Broncos lose that game, then that's when like. That's when worry has to set in for them.
Yeah, that's when the hate comes out. That's when Twitter gets egregious. Okay, let's do another one. Chiefs versus Cardinals. Kyler Murray versus Patrick Mahomes. No more Tyreek Hill. D-Hop is suspended.
I would pick I'd say the Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs too. I'm excited to see what. Again, it's always like, oh, this team's so good. It's in the AFC West, but I'm excited to see what happens with Juju specifically.
Yeah,
like I want to see.
I'm intrigued to see how Juju fares in Kansas City.
Yeah, because it's always like we've always said on the podcast, like he's better as a number 2. We really don't know who the other wide receiver 1 would be of the Chiefs. So, but if Juju can fill that number 2 spot, Juju should rise back.
I think that'll be a close game, good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've no real reason to not pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. And now let's do one more. Let's do one more. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, his first game without Devontae Adams versus the Vikings.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I would pick the Packers. I don't know. I think I'm of the mindset that the AFC North, for the first time in quite a while, is not a lot. Like I think it's up for grabs. Well, maybe
North,
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, NFC North. Did I say AFC?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I think that the NFC North, for the first time in a while, I don't want to say up for grabs because I still would say the Packers are the favorites.
Yeah.
But I think it's very feasible to think that. Well, I was gonna say that anybody could take it, but really, I guess that the Vikings could take it because neither of the other 2 teams are.
No, the Lions are probably gonna be.
I think the Lions are gonna have a drastically better record than last year.
I think so.
That being said, they're not gonna win.
Yeah, well, we talked about last week when it was like all their games are decided by like so close.
Yeah, they're like the worst team of all time.
And the Bears, like also our game last week proved, are like with just Madden rankings, are one of the most average looking teams of all time on paper.
Yeah, I think the Bears just realistically don't have very much to be excited about this year, other than Justin Fields hopefully looks like he's going to progress, hopefully. But other than that, not much to be excited about. But yeah, I think it's reasonable to think that the Packers might not win the division this year.
Yeah.
But I still have to pick them to beat the Vikings week 1.
I think so too. Even though the Vikings are probably going to be a really good team, I just think a lot of people feel like they're going off the tree, like Aaron Rodgers is going to be bad now that Devontae is gone. I don't think so at all. Like Aaron Rodgers is still a back-to-back MVP. He's probably going to be able to cook with whoever you really throw out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing people are talking about, like is Aaron Rodgers going to get exposed with no Devontae? Is
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes going to get exposed with no Tyree? It's like, no, these are two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be fine.
In the
does it hurt to lose those guys? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In the interviews I've seen with Aaron Rodgers recently, he looks to be like enlightened. So he might like have channeled something now.
Yeah. Joe Rogan might have put him on some DMT.
No, yeah, he's for sure like he's going to be able to see things that no one else can see.
Yeah, I do think it is. Yeah, I mean, I do also believe though that the Packers' offense is going to be worse.
Yeah,
but I still think, I mean, it's an Aaron Rodgers led offense. They're not going to be bad or anything close to bad or even mid. But I also think that does hurt losing. I mean, their receiving core is running on fumes.
Yeah, 100%.
They do have a good run game to fall back on though. So
yeah, they do. Still waiting on the AJ Dillon reign to start.
I'm not. I got Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones on fantasy.
I'm doing my best to try to get AJ Dillon too, but Jake's being a little stubborn about it.
And they still got Jordan Love just sitting there. Like I like Jordan Love, but I feel like it's getting so long where he's gonna be like 24, 25 if he ever really gets his chance to like start.
I've seen some people have been doing like the like this or that things like we've done before. Like, would you pick this person or that person? And they did one for Jordan Love. It's like, where are you? Like, this is BS.
Yeah.
Like they're throwing out rookie quarterbacks and be like, oh, I take Jordan Love over this one, over that one. You don't know.
You don't know.
You have no
clue.
idea.
Yeah, you have legit no idea.
The most you can say is, I like Jordan Love. I would like to see him play.
Yeah.
You can't be like, Jordan Love is better than Zach Wilson, but not better than Justin Fields. Like, what in the world?
Exactly.
Where are you getting that from?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he's better than Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, how do you know, man?
Yeah, like, have you been at their practices? Like the only way you could know that is if you're within the Packers organization.
Exactly. Like, and it's when it's stuff like that with like Trevor Lawrence, I'm like, Trevor Lawrence is in NFL hell right now. Like he is on the Jaguars.
This is true.
That stuff is why it would be really interesting to see like in the future, like once Aaron's gone, if it's the AJ Dillon and Jordan Love show, just a complete shift. That'll be an exciting time.
But even everybody talks about like, oh, at what point is AJ Dillon going to take over as the lead back in Green Bay? Which, like, realistically, it's like, okay, you have AJ Dillon in your back pocket. Maybe when Aaron Jones' contract is up, you don't resign him. But also, Aaron Jones is really young.
Aaron Jones is really young and he's doing like really well.
Aaron Jones is a great running back, and he's 2 years older than AJ Dillon, maybe. I feel for him because it's like he's like, I'm doing everything I can here. Like, I'm one of the best backs in the league. I'm young. I've got. But then when you just have a guy like AJ Dillon, then it's hard to feel like your days are numbered.
Aaron Jones is 3 years older than AJ Dillon. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's 26, 20.
He's 27 and AJ Dillon's 24.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's like Aaron Jones is gonna die soon. He's an old man. Like, what are we talking?
Yeah,
like,
when people
relax.
I mean, like, he's not some like old head that's on his way out.
Exactly.
He's still.
I would say, controversial, this could probably be Green Bay's fault for drafting guys like this and like having these
because they just draft random positions.
Yeah, and having these like great players just waiting behind these guys who are way too young to be like, it's the passing of the torch.
Yeah, when you trade up to draft a player in the first quarterback in the first round and then just put him on the bench for the next few years, and probably never even start him or do anything.
Yeah, when you trade up draft a quarterback and then your quarterback wins MVP. It's like interesting. This is not. It's not what I thought it was gonna go.
I mean, looking back at it, when the Packers traded up to draft a quarterback to draft Jordan Love, really we should have known that there was never a doubt that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to win MVP.
No, that is the biggest okay, but this is my inspiration.
Like, why was that even a question of like, oh, how's Aaron Rodgers? Like, he was going to win MVP.
No, he was going to win MVP.
Like, it was a lock.
And then Devontae gets traded, and now he's on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's transcended. He's like, no earthly matters can stress me out anymore. All right, now I want to play a little game. Are these players in their prime? So I'm just going to say some quarterbacks, and you tell me if you think currently this season they are in their prime or they're not in their prime.
Okay.
All right, so first, Dak Prescott.
Are we? What? I don't. You're saying like heading into this next season?
Yeah, heading this next
prime, or just like generally speaking, is this their prime?
We'll say heading into this next season, so it's more
like, is this next year going to be the best year?
Is their next season going to be like? Is this their best year of their career?
Well, that's probably very maybe one guy in the NFL that's going to be true of. That's a difficult way to define.
Then we can do it. Which are they at their best right now? Aren't they at their peak?
Okay.
Since that'll be easier.
Okay. What's happening?
Dak Prescott, is he in his prime right now?
I think Dak. If I had to guess, I'd say Dak's prime is going to be the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I would say Dak's in his prime. I do not think the Cowboys are in their prime. I think they are. It's like two. What does I say? Oh, two ships passing in the night. They're gonna miss each other.
Why? Because they have no offensive line.
Yeah, because I think they would have needed their great offensive line for the past couple of years, and now it's gonna come out to where they have a really young offensive line and a really good Dak Prescott. So it's gonna be hard if they can't protect Dak. If they can't get this stuff done, it's gonna be hard for Dak to actually get to his prime.
Yeah, but if their young offensive line develops well, and you also have CeeDee Lamb developing,
that's true. Then they could pass.
And Dak potentially, I have to believe that Dak hasn't had his best year yet. I think he's still approaching his peak or his prime. It could potentially happen in the next 2 years.
That would be the perfect scenario. Is that they're all kind of the young offensive line and Dak are kind of moving better together, and it's in perfect sync. That would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah, it's just tough with young offensive lines. Typically, O-line is a tough position to develop until they're veterans.
Yeah. Okay. Is he in his prime? Patrick Mahomes.
You can't say he's not in his prime.
Yeah, I would say he's for sure in his prime. If he gets any better, it's gonna be scary.
When I say he's in his prime, I'm not saying it's all downhill from here. I'm just saying he can't really get better.
No, and if he does, it's gonna be nightmarish. It's I think his prime will be in 3 to 4 years. It's okay, cool. So he's dropping 80,000 yards. Okay, let's do one more. Is he in his prime? Lamar Jackson. Since we're talking about Lamar earlier.
That's tough because the whole after his MVP season, in what was that 2020?
Yeah.
After his MVP season, I know one narrative was a lot of people were saying this isn't sustainable. Which numbers to that point, not really sustainable. Otherwise he'd be winning MVP every year.
Yeah.
But also people saying the NFL is figuring out Lamar. Yeah. They're going to figure out Lamar.
They've been saying that since he's been in the league, yeah.
I think it's reasonable to at this point think no, the NFL isn't figuring out Lamar. He's that good.
Yeah, that's just Lamar.
It's saying that the NFL was ever going to figure out Lamar feels it feels like it's making light of how skilled he is by implying that it's he found a loophole in the game.
Exactly, he's glitching the game.
Yeah, he found a little it's he found a little glitch, a little loophole in the NFL.
Exactly.
Where if I just do this, then I can be really good. It's no, he's
he's just that good.
That loophole is called talent, skill, and it's not a loophole. It's just playing the game.
That loophole is just called being Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just people think it's our Madden franchise where it's wait a minute, hang on, our boy in our league just scored 100 points. That's a loophole. This dude is Lamar's just good.
No, people were legit acting like it's a video game and it's a glitch that needs to be patched. He won MVP this year, but patch notes come out next year, and he's gonna
exactly.
He's not gonna be able to repeat it.
They're gonna figure out Lamar. The DN is just needs to take 3 steps to the right every snap. Okay, we figured him out.
Yeah, so I think it's stupid to say that the NFL is gonna figure out Lamar anytime soon. Yeah. He does play a physical game, so it's possible to think that he'll go downhill. I'd say he's pretty much. This last year he was hurt half the year, but prior to that and what I expect he'll bounce back to this year, I think is his prime pretty much.
Yeah, I think even though I love Lamar, it's going to sound disrespectful at first, but I think his prime was his MVP season, and I don't think that means it's going to be a drop-off. I don't think he'll be able to hit those insane numbers again. Because even though the NFL might not figure him out, it's still they learn and develop with quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So that I think Lamar will still be one of the best quarterbacks, one of the most athletic quarterbacks, but I don't think he'll hit that big MVP season mark again.
No, I think... just based on other QBs in the NFL right now, I would, if I had to guess, I would say Lamar's a one-time MVP guy.
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys are. There's not anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. And it's also hard. Talking about one-time MVP guys. sometimes I think about how many quarterbacks, like good quarterbacks, had Super Bowls taken away from them just because Brady was in the league and they were that dominant for that long. Like, how many quarterbacks didn't get a Super Bowl, they lost that one chance they had to get in there just because the Patriots and Brady were dominant for a decade.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the NFL is like over the next decade because, I mean, another dynasty could certainly come to power, but without, I mean, like, legitimately, like, half the Super Bowls, over half the Super Bowls maybe, were being won by the same guy.
Exactly.
The same guy, the same team for a super long time. So it's like, you had incredible quarterbacks that just because Tom Brady was winning every year, never got a ring, or like, I don't know, we're in a normal league where there's not one guy winning all the time, they probably get their shot.
Exactly. And do you think...
I mean, like, Drew Brees won the Super Bowl once, right?
Yeah. Like, guys like...
That's kind of unreal.
Exactly. And guys, like, even guys in different divisions and stuff, or, like, different conferences, like, Phillip Rivers not even ever making it. Like, that's wild. Guys like Big Ben only going once.
I think twice.
Yeah, like, just, like, guys like that who, like, didn't get to shine, or guys in the NFC who didn't get to shine just because... Or in the AFC who didn't get the shine just because Brady was taking it up the whole time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Now, do you think it's bad for the NFL to have, like, what's better for the NFL, to have a dynasty or to have it be a constant battle?
I think they're both. I like both in their own right.
Yeah.
When you've got, like, Tom Brady, I had always been kind of like a Tom Brady hater. I always root against Tom Brady because he was always winning. But then it got to a point where he won so many that I was like, all right, let's like see if he can get a couple more. Like, let's see how many rings we can get.
I was like,
to where you kind of can't help but root for it.
I was like, you tell me he wins 70% of the Super Bowls he goes to. I was like, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, so there's something about rooting for that. But then also, when you have some years where it's like you just have random teams that sneak in that you're like, I don't know, because like, I don't know, were people really rooting for Tom Brady over Nick Foles that year?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
like what are we talking about?
Like, one of the greatest stories ever in this backup quarterback winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it is really cool to see, like, every once in a while where you get small market teams in there, or having, like, teams like the Bengals.
Yeah,
that just never do anything.
I do like. I think it's just, of course it was like, I like when, if my team's not in the running, I like it being a battle. If my team is in the running, I want to be the Giants have a dynasty. Like, it's always what I prefer. Do you think we'll ever see a Giants dynasty? That's the real question I'm getting to.
Yeah, well, I mean that's like even in college football, like the Alabama dynasty. I mean, a lot of college football fans probably hate Alabama because of that. But I don't know. I think it's like, how many rings can Nick Saban get?
Sometimes games gotta respect game.
I'm like, I just want to see Alabama win every game by 50 points and just see how crazy this dynasty can get. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, I want to see what he can really do.
Yeah, where it's like it's the same thing where, like, when you recognize whether it's like Tom Brady being like, okay, this is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I am alive getting to watch this. I want to see how many can win. Or like Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah,
I want to watch and see how badly he can abuse these little schools, where these little FCS schools, how many hundreds of points he can beat them by.
Exactly. Nothing can solve who the greatest of whatever is if you've won like 7 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing can ever be like, because you can get, like, one guy can win the Super Bowl once. It can be like, well, this happened, right? Well, this happened. It was a cakewalk. It was like this. Like, he played this team. This guy was hurt. You do it 7 times. It's like, maybe he's just really freaking good. Like a one-time ring, it can be like, oh, this guy was hurt. This guy didn't play. The man did it 7 times, went to 9 or 10 of them. He's just really good. He's just the best.
But have you seen? People do make the memes where, like,
I said the Braun ones.
No, I'm saying with Brady, like the picture of him with the rings, and then they'll point to each one and be like, this one was the Tuck rule. This one was Gostkowski won it for them. This one, this happened. And you can this one was Tuck rule happened that year or whatever. Like, you can always come up with something. But I don't know. At a certain point, it's like 7. Like, I don't know. I mean, it is a team sport, so
Yeah.
you can be like Gostkowski won it for him this year, but it's like
he
was on the team.
Yeah, he was on the team.
like I don't know. Like you can't.
And like we've said before, like a quarterback cannot be carried to the Super Bowl 9-7. Win 7 times.
I mean, it's the same thing as like when the Giants won. It's like you could be like, oh, helmet catch, David Tyree won it for him. It's like
exactly.
Yeah. Eli Manning was still a good quarterback that year. like Eli Manning still played a pretty big part in winning the Super Bowl.
A pretty accurate ball to hit him in the head like that. Some would even say it was DC8's presence that won them that Super Bowl.
I think most people would say
that. So we always talk about like the best players and like all these guys, like all these kids nowadays, they've had like really good teams. You've been a Raiders fan. You went through a lot of hardship and turmoil for a long time. So I wanted to throw some start bench cuts at you, Raider edition, with some names that we might not hear all the time. Okay? So let's do wide receiver, or let's do quarterbacks first. Okay? Start bench cut: Jason Campbell, Carson Palmer, Jamarcus Russell.
Okay, well, cut Jamarcus Russell. Is this based on how well they did for the Raiders, or like in their prime?
Yeah,
because we didn't have prime Carson Palmer.
Yeah,
we
yeah. It's just how they did for the Raiders.
Okay, well, I'm starting Carson Palmer, benching Jason Campbell, cutting Jamarcus Russell, and like when I say cutting him, I'm not like, oh, I'm sorry, we just had to go different
way. It's
it's brutal. Like I'm calling him into the front office, and like it's getting egregious.
It's not even front office. You might do it in front of the team, like like a team meeting.
It would be like the whole team's there, and then I call him up front and say, well, we got something to tell you, and I like make him think we're gonna like give him like a little present. I do it on his birthday, and then I just cut him.
You keep giving him film tapes and just say you're cut until he notices. So if he finally watches one.
I say, here, I got some film for you to watch, and he puts it in, finally decides to watch film, and then it just says, you're gone. It just says you're off the tape.
Keep going to see how long you can go, and then he keeps coming back to you.
Probably play the whole season. Play the whole season.
Exactly. Okay, so let's do another one. Raiders wide receivers. Seth Roberts, Amari Cooper, that's a name a lot of us know, and Michael Crabtree.
Yeah. Seth Roberts has to get the boot. He was a solid slot guy.
Yeah.
So then it's between Coop and Crabtree. I think I'm based on how they were for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Not their careers as a whole. I think I'm gonna bench Crabtree. And then I'm gonna start Coop, and we're just gonna,
hope
he catches. Yeah, give him some stick up. Give him really sticky gloves.
You're just gonna really hope that thing sticks.
Yeah.
Who would you say is more loved by Raider fans, Crabtree or Amari?
Crabtree.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
I think so. Even though Crabtree, like low-key, the Niners are a rival of the Raiders, or were back in the Oakland days, but.
I don't
know.
I love when they were in Oakland and just straight up it would be the Niners throwing their old guys at the Raiders. Like remember Navarro Bowman. Remember that? It's just like he caught the Raiders' first interception like week 12. Remember that's like this is the Raiders' first interception of the season. I'm like, dude, it's week 8. This is not clean. All right, start bench cut Raiders edition, huh? All right, so Raiders running backs. Latavius Murray, Marshawn Lynch, Darren McFadden.
Oh, man.
This is a good one. Because these are all, like, very loved names, dude.
Yeah, I love all those guys. So I'm going to cut Latavius Murray.
That was really fast. You said, I love all these guys. I'm going to cut.
I don't know. I mean, this
is the hard one. Because Marshawn's very much loved. And Darren McFadden's loved.
Oh, man. I mean, realistically, during the time they were on the Raiders, I think Darren was probably a better back than Marshawn. So... if I want to win, start Darren McFadden, bench Marshawn. If I want to watch an exciting game, start Marshawn, bench Darren.
Yeah. If you want to watch Marshawn dance on the sideline, it's clean.
Based on how well they were when they were on the Raiders, I would bench Marshawn.
Yeah.
Bench Marshawn, start Darren. And actually, those two would make a good...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Marshawn would be my,
short,
third and short goal line guy. What if you would like on the 1 yard line?
Yeah,
like something like that.
You probably
I'd probably hand it to Marshawn. Did you see they're not letting Gorilla into the game 1 game?
Why? What do you do? Is Gorilla banned from LA?
We need to use our. I feel that with the small platform we have, we need to use it to mobilize the people. Justice for Gorilla.
Justice for Gorilla, man.
He's not allowed to go to game 1 in SoFi because I think probably because he's a gorilla mask where they don't want him to wear the gorilla mask.
It's like why can't this man be let in? He's a full on gorilla.
But like, come on.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, what is the problem with him wearing a gorilla mask?
I've always seen like what's like the Raiders black hole. I'm like, it makes sense. The spikes, and then I see like other teams. I'm like, why is this Dolphins fan wearing spikes? Like, where is this
because the
really
spikes
fit?
are not like
no,
it's randomly throw that on.
No, people just throw it on like shoulder pads. I'm like, really? The Patriots?
All right, this is start bench cut for you based on when they were in their primes.
Okay.
On the Giants.
Oh, here we go. Oh, no.
OBJ.
Oh, well.
Plexico Burress.
Okay.
Victor Cruz.
Oh, you dirty dog. Out of that third one.
Is your heart breaking?
Oh, no. Sorry, Plexico. Burress is getting cut, and this one's going to be wild. Odell's getting benched, and Victor Cruz is starting. Victor Cruz is one of my favorite wide receivers of all time.
To be clear, is that
there might listen?
Is that answer rooted in emotion or
a
real life?
Little bit? But I guarantee you, if Odell does come back to the Giants, ask me again, that answer will flip. Because the thing, like, something is wild about Victor Cruz's story, right? Like how he came up and made the roster and then just started cooking. Like that man, it was beautiful.
Also, I will say, people love OBJ, and as you know, when he was on Giants wide receiver, OBJ, great touchdown dances, celebrations. Mm-hmm. Go back a couple years. Mm-hmm. Victor Cruz was doing it first.
Victor Cruz's salsa was so clean. It was like nowadays, like everyone kind of like, except like Jamar Chase and JJS, they do like the gritties, like they are kind of like staple. But a lot of guys nowadays, they kind of do like they have a whole bunch of different ones they do. Victor Cruz was just hitting the salsa, and it was
it's like a signature move.
Yeah.
But did you see what Ocho Cinco said about touchdown dances now?
What did he say?
That they're trash. Basically, he said he's like giving like it's like he's critiquing an art.
Oh yeah.
But he was
the work of a critic.
Basically, that there's no creativity. They just do whatever's trendy, it's like.
Well, yeah, it was wild for a little.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Remember,
there's some people do some
Odell
stuff.
did the Modern Warfare revive. Remember that one? That one was wild. We got it.
Yeah, well, and there's some things that like, they're whatever, just trendy, but also like people forget Cam Newton played an instrumental role in the popularity of the dab. That's like real life. That's a real thing that happened. Is he helped make the dab what it became.
People are gonna flame me, but Plexico people love that man. I feel so bad now.
Plexico Burress?
Yeah, for not choosing. People love that man. I feel so bad now. That's just who I was there watching. Tears came to my eyes when Odell's rookie year when he hit the salsa. Like real tears.
Did Odell hit salsa?
The rookie year as for Victor Cruz he hit it, and real tears rolled up my eyes.
Oh, so it was tasteful. It was like a tribute. It wasn't like
no, it was beautiful. It was like, I'm pretty sure all Giants fans cried that day.
All right, Daniel Jones, David Carr, Hefty Lefty.
Hefty, all of my favorite lyrics. It does give you, like my dad, David Carr, came from an awful team. It does give you, like, if you ever really think about it, it does give you some example of how good NFL quarterbacks are. My dad was the number 1 overall draft pick, and he was a backup at the time at the Giants. Like, that shows you how insane, like, these quarterbacks are. Like, the guy that was drafted number 1 overall in 2002 was then a backup in 2012. Like, that's pretty insane.
Where's Blake Bortles at today?
Where's
he was the number 1 pick?
Yeah, what's his name boy at? Cardinals boy.
Joshy?
Yeah, Joshy. Pretty sure Joshy just got
pick number 10.
Yeah.
He's on the practice squad for the Browns right now.
Like, guys like that, like, you have to, like, we see dudes get drafted, and then we, like, don't hear about them anymore. Like, it's wild. Like, it's stuff. Like, if you aren't paying attention to every team, like, if you just pay attention to your team, you'll draft somebody, you won't hear about him, like, again.
Yeah. When Josh Rosen was drafted 10th overall and said there were 9 mistakes made ahead of him and all that, that was in the 2018 draft that he was drafted. Mm-hmm. How many teams do you think he has been a part of?
I don't know. I do not know.
Just guess.
3, 2. I'll say not 3.
6 teams.
Okay.
So he's been passed around a little bit.
I was seeing something. I forgot what the number is. The XFL quarterback, he's been on 16 teams. In 4, I think it was 16 teams in 4 different leagues.
Okay, I thought you were saying 16 NFL teams. That was a heart attack.
No, 16 NFL teams. It might be 12. It's one of them. And 4 different leagues. It was,
Dang. Like
it was NFL,
CFL, XFL, arena football.
Yeah, and then it's like AAF was one of them for like a second, right?
What's that? Is that arena?
No, I think it was like one of the.
Please.
No,
the like.
Because there was like a year where like there was like 3 different leagues. Remember that? It was like oh, the XFL and then went off. Then like the AFL came on. Then
I think the AFL's sticking around. I think it's like a feeder for the NFL now, right?
Yeah, because there was one where it was like, I remember it might have been the AFL or something like that, where it was like these dudes are just getting obliterated. Like these are just grown men killing each other. And watching our boy Swaggy Ty play at Bakersfield College, community college yesterday, like play his first college game. Those are just like dudes fighting for their life, and it like community college is insane to watch. These are grown men. Like I see Tyler, little 19-year-old, and then like his teammates 25. I'm like, what is going on?
No, JUCO ball is the ultimate like melting pot.
Yeah, no, he comes like Tyler comes to me. He's like, dude, my running back like got cut from like Notre Dame because he was like on drugs. I'm like,
that's
okay,
the thing.
sick.
Some people would think like, oh, if you play JUCO, it's like you weren't ready to play D1 or whatever. Sometimes it's not that they weren't football though. Like the athleticism's there. It's that they like
you are mentally
the academics or like the crimes they committed or whatever.
Exactly. Like he's
it's like no, this person's fully like good enough at football to be playing at Alabama, but they also like did armed robbery when they were 19.
Yeah, and Ty was like, dude, it's so weird because I'm at practice and like dudes are like they have like 3 kids waiting for them like after a game. And I'm like, I'm just 19. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
That was probably life if you went to Bakersfield High too, though.
Oh, for sure. That's what they call BC. Like it's like Bakersfield High School. My bad, man. There already is a BHS, which is wild too.
Yeah,
it just feels like when I went, it just felt like a high school.
If you could be married to any NFL quarterback, who would you choose?
Jimmy G, locked in instantly. Was that one wild?
I thought you were gonna go a route about like who would like be a kind, caring husband, but you went straight for look. You went physical right away.
But
that
also,
was kind of wild.
We could connect it because he's been with the Niners for so long. It's like
he's loyal
through our hardship. He'll never leave my side.
Not that he wants to be.
That's true.
It's like he's before like his divorce attorney's not good enough to get him out.
It's more like I'm the abusive one. Like I've been pushing him away, and he keeps coming back to me.
I feel like over the past few months, NFL fans have come to appreciate Jimmy G in a weird way. To where people like want to see him like play somewhere at least. Do you think that means that that's going to translate to like people hating on Trey Lance?
I think the biggest flip we'll ever see is if Trey Lance starts the season and he's really bad, and then it's going to be the biggest flip of all time.
Yeah, Trey Lance has.
It has to be good. It has to be good.
That's the thing. People talk about there's a lot of quarterbacks this year that have a lot of pressure for different reasons. They have to prove themselves. Trey Lance has to be good. But
Trey Lance, everybody fought for you to play. Like everybody.
But who is there more pressure on for Trey Lance to be good? Pressure on Trey or on like the Niners?
That's true.
Because they're not like Trey's just he's doing his best.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that
on the Niners, but also like us as fans, we're not even fans of the Niners and we fought for Trey Lance to start. Like guys who aren't even fans of the Niners are like, please start Trey. Please start Trey.
Yeah, but it's just like do something. Like it wasn't even that people like loved. Like I thought heading into that draft class,
like, do something.
Out of those like 5 quarterbacks, Trey Lance was the one that I was kind of like, well, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
But once you draft him, do something.
Yeah,
like either make hit, so do something.
It almost feels like never mind. I'm not going to say that one. Like I was going to say we could have like as a fan base risen up and made
Connor Cook the starter over Derek Carr.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Jordan Love, but Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy G, very different quarterbacks, try to push out the door. Yeah, Trey, I feel really bad for Trey because it's going to be everybody watching. And as soon if he does something bad, ESPN is going to light up. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also thinking in a game.
Hard cut to Jimmy G on the sideline.
Yep,
Yeah, I love those ones.
The second Trey Lance throws a pick, how quickly does the camera pan to Jimmy G on the sideline? See his reaction.
Is Jimmy G cheesing or no?
He's
I feel like Jimmy G cares for Trey.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like Jimmy G's like nice, and he might be like it's okay, Trey.
No, I think his press conference that he had the other day, he like, I don't know, like where they asked him like, is this humbling for you? And he's like, yeah, it's humbling, but like you need to, how could it not be? But also in this league, you need to know who you are. You need to be confident about yourself.
I mean, the NFL gives such weird like so many different things are thrown at us. Because like I remember when the Giants drafted Danny, and I'm like in my mind, I'm like begging, I'm like, please, Eli, you have to retire. I can't watch you get traded or cut. Like, please, you have to retire. Because that would be the most saddest thing ever for me. Would be like Eli to go to different teams. So it's me begging my favorite quarterback, please retire, because you don't get cut or traded.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so many. Like the NFL throws so many weird like things that you have to like choose a side on now. It's like, oh Trey, please be good. So I'm gonna feel so bad if we flamed Jimmy G all this time and Jimmy G's significantly better than you. Like, that would hurt.
Well, that's the thing is Jimmy G is, like, I mean, it's been going on for long enough now that we've grown used to it, but Jimmy G's in a really weird situation. Because he's certainly well above the 32nd best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's, the guy deserves to be starting somewhere, but he's just in such a weird situation.
He is in such a weird spot. And
to where there's the level that Jimmy G, when he was playing at, was good enough to where in his first year starting, Trey Lance could very well be significantly worse than that. Yeah. Like, that's a very real chance.
That's a very real possibility. Now, what do you think this Trey Lance Jimmy G saga would be different? So right now, they're on the Niners, a really good team who are Super Bowl ready, who just need to figure out their quarterback. Do you think we'd still have these fights if they were on a really bad tanking team? Do you think it would be like, might as well let Trey play, or do you think it'd be like, let Trey relax? Like, if they were on a really bad team, do you think it'd be like, let Jimmy G play for a while and let Trey just relax? Or do you think it'd be like, put Trey in, we're bad anyways?
Yeah, I think you'd see yourself more in like a situation like you have with like the Jets, with the Jags, with like the Bears, a lot of these teams, pretty much all those teams that drafted quarterback that year with the exception of the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you not start? like if you're the Jags, why would you start anybody over Trevor Lawrence? Like, you're going to lose. Exactly. You may as well start the guy with upside. And, I mean, Trey Lance undoubtedly has a higher ceiling, more upside than Jimmy, just because we haven't really seen much out of him and he's younger.
And think about if Trey Lance comes out and he is the GOAT, think about how many years of insane stats he's left behind not starting when he could. Like, how many years did Steve Young lose because he had to sit behind Joe Montana for a few years, right? That's
one. Yeah. I mean, sure Trey Lance is going to lose one.
Pump up those stats, big dog.